Hey y'all, back here with another knife review. This time on the Wenger tool chest that had been upgraded to what is now called back then it was called the Evo S54, and then they upgraded that again to the Evo S54 grip. And the reason they call it Evo, I guess it stands for evolution, is they have these contoured grips that replace the really flat grips on the old version of the tool chest. I've had this particular knife for about 25 years, and it replaced the original style that I think the blade had broke or something had happened. I don't remember. I know it was 25 years ago or longer, and then before that, I had that other knife another 10 years. So that's 35 years of history on this knife. I'm not going to go over a whole lot because there's a lot to go over. But if you are interested in this or any other Swiss Army made knife, and this was another knife that was issued to the Swiss Army besides the Victorinox, this brand is now owned by Victorinox, the Wenger brand, because those were the two big boys over in Switzerland. But if you have any questions or want to know something about your particular knife or anything like that, there's a great site called SAK Wiki. That's SAK for Swiss Army Knife Wiki. And you can get on there and punch in your knife, and they'll tell you the knife and all of its evolutions and upgrades and things like that. So I'll just give you a little brief overview. But this is the Wenger Evo S54. In their line is an 85 millimeter tool. That's the length of the tool. It is what I remember some of these things. 26 millimeters wide. That's how much it is from side to side. And this particular tool weighs about 7.7 ounces, so just shy of 8 ounces. And that's not super heavy, but it's also not light. Obviously, some direct comparisons would be to the Swiss Champ by Victorinox, which I love. That's something I still carry every day. And just like I said, giving you a brief overview, you can look here and you can see that they don't put a lot of tools on the back side of the tool. Unlike Victorinox, they do give you a little smattering of tools. And the tool they do give you, they give you a cutout and they give you an awl, which is kind of found on all those models. And they give you the wine bottle opener, but I stuck a Victorinox little miniature screwdriver in there just because there was room. And they don't give you a space for a needle like the Victorinox does, where you have that little pinhole there. You get a toothpick, and I'm not going to pull it out because they all kind of work the same. And you get a pair of tweezers right there. Unlike the Swiss Champ, you don't get a writing pen, which I think is pretty cool on the Swiss Champ. Like I said, I won't go over every tool, but I will go over some of the highlights on this thing. And one of them is, right here, it has a lock. And what that does is it only locks the main blade, and pretty much the only blade on the knife. The only thing I don't like about it is that lock kind of stands proud. So when you have it out, it could catch on something. It's not a big deal, but it is a thing. And you just push it to disengage it. And this knife also has a half stop, which I don't understand. If you got a lock, you don't really need a half stop, but there it is. It may be a function of the design that I ain't aware of. And instead of a secondary blade, they give you a file, which I'd rather have the secondary blade, but that's okay. Let's see, what other feature? Kind of a difference in the Swiss Champ, which is an obvious comparison, is you get these pliers. Now, the difference between the Swiss Champ and these is I really love these pliers, and one of the reasons is, number one is this spring. I think that this spring system is vastly superior to the Victorinox Swiss Champ pliers. They're good pliers on both tools, but I just like this one a little better. And I like the plier head because if you can see, like a pair of channel locks, you can adjust the width that the pliers open and close. See there, we got the normal length, and if you're working on a project a little bigger, you slide it open and you can get to some bigger bolt heads. It also has a little built-in wire cutter here, this little hole, and you put your wire in and then you close it down and it'll cut your wire, but it won't cut very big wires, but you know, a little bigger than speaker wire probably. And then it has, let me see, get that sucker here, has a little wire cutter that is located right here in the plier head. So that's another difference. And then another thing that this knife has is it has a, got the wrong tool. It has a compass and it has a ruler, and you'll notice that it's clear and it has a little ridge in it, and the purpose of this ruler is to be used with the map, and it has several different things. So if you're reading a map and you're looking at the scale and you want to know how far a mountain peak is or whatever when you're hiking, you can use it. If you don't have a map and you just, all you have is this tool and you've gone out hiking and you find yourself lost, well, it's okay because you get a little built-in compass. And the cool thing is this little button compass is removable. And it's pretty accurate. And it's not super rugged, but it's, turning around here to get. Anyway, it is accurate. I've tested it up against a military compass I have, a U.S. Army compass. And it is pretty accurate. You know, it's really small, but you can use it to shoot an azimuth or a direction in which you want to travel. You know, you would take this, get it up to eye level, and sight down to whatever mountain peak or landmark that you wanted to head toward, and it could give you a basic direction to kind of get you home. And that's, you know, if you didn't have anything else, or you know, you lost your compass on the trail or something like that, great little backup. What else is really different that stands out? I guess we'll get the scissors, because I love the scissors on any of these tools. If I can get it out here, well, get the scissors out. There we go. And you'll notice that the scissors have this really great spring as well. And I love that spring. I think it's really much better than the Victorinox. And these scissors are very precision. They're every bit as precision as the Victorinox scissors, which I think are some of the absolute best. So that's pretty cool. And their magnifying glass versus the Swiss Champ, which it's one of the most obvious tools to compare this to. Yeah, if I can get it out. What I don't like is their thumb holes are harder to get to than the Swiss Champ. But anyway, as you can see, you get a metal, and that is real glass. I looked it up. That is a real glass magnifying lens, and it's really precision and works good. I even started a little fire with it, and you get a flathead screwdriver up here, which is nice. I'm not going to go over every tool on this thing because it would take a while. I'll make another video later where I do, but I just kind of wanted to give you an overview. And one last thing I want to show, that you don't get a lot of tools on the back springs like you do on a Victorinox Swiss Champ. You get an awl, which has a little cutout here so that you can access it, and you get a bottle opener. It didn't come with this screwdriver. I added it on, and one other thing I'll show you, you don't get the needle hole that you do on the Swiss Champ. And you also get a pair of you get a toothpick, you get some tweezers, but you don't get the writing pen like they give you on the Victorinox Swiss Champ. Other than that, it pretty much has the same tools, except they do put a spin on it. And one of the tools that they put on here that I think is kind of neat, if I see, like I said, it's really, they make it kind of difficult to get out. Unlike the Swiss Champ, you can just grab it and get your tools out really fast, which I like. I mean, it's not bad. It's just that goes advantage Victorinox Swiss Champ. They give you this wrench, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see it there, a little picture of a wrench grabbing a nut, and I think it goes up to 10 millimeter and then down. So if you have a little camera or some system that has little nuts on it, then this is pretty useful. And it does work. I've put it on some little nuts. It fit my my little 10 millimeter car battery on my truck. It has a little 10 millimeter clamp, and it did fit that pretty good on my Toyota. So like I said, I won't open up every single tool on here, but just a couple. I'll give you one more here. Let's do one more because it's a little different than the Victorinox. This is the screwdriver, and you'll know. Look how stubby it is. Like on the Victorinox, you get a bit more substantial screwdriver. But what I like about this one is where it is. It comes out on the side. And I also like this design, if they would have gave you a little bit longer screwdriver, is when you press on it, when you engage a screw and you go to screw it in or out, you can't see it, but it has an internal lock. And when you do, it can't close on you. As long as there's just a little bit of pressure on this screwdriver, it locks it open. And then it's passive, so as soon as you're done, it'll close right up into the tool. And other than that, it pretty much has the same tools. It's got a file. It's got scissors, which has the scissors. I think we talked about that. It has the same spring as the pliers, which I think is a superior spring system. And it has these I love these handles, these contoured handles. They really are much more ergonomic. And while I'm not a collector, this is sort of a collector's piece because they don't make them anymore. And it is different enough to be pretty cool to have in your collection. And I'm a fan of Victorinox. I didn't know about Wenger, and this is the only Wenger knife I had. But I do have some friends of mine that have Wenger knives, and they are really cool. They're different. They're innovative, but they're just a little bit different than Victorinox. And I forgot what year it is. Like I said, you can go to SAC Wiki and look that up. But Victorinox took over Wenger, and so they started making their own knives. But they kept the Wenger brand alive. They didn't shut it down. They kept the Wenger brand alive. Like I said, I think it's in Delamont is where Wenger is located. And they have a totally separate factory than Victorinox. And from what I read, they were cool and kept the factory open and kept the workers open that used to work for Wenger when it was an independent company. Both of these companies did have contracts for the Swiss Army, and so they both were suppliers. But since Victorinox grew and, there can only be one, like on Highlander, Victorinox went out and bought out Wenger. This knife also comes with a really great case. It's really heavy duty and thick. The knife fits in here really well. And in fact, it fits so well that you kind of have to use that lanyard ring on the side to help you get it out. Like I said, this is 25 years old. You see a couple little scuff marks on it. I never wore this on my belt. I think I put it on once to see if it would go. I wore it around for half a day or something. But yeah, I've really never worn this knife on my belt. But it is very sturdy. I can't, you have to see it in person. It has a really quality feel when it snaps. It's really quality. That leather is very high quality leather. It's not just, some second rate leather. It's top grain, good leather. And anyway, that is an overview of my Wenger Evo S54 tool chest. And also, I want to give a little shout out here that I hit my 100th subscriber today. And it was a guy named Jason. So, Jason, I appreciate you being my 100th subscriber. And then, I never done giveaways or anything because I'm a tiny channel. But I think one day, when I hit 500 or something, I'd like to find something to give away and try that out. Because I really do appreciate y'all. Everybody that comes by, you're not just a number. You're not just another subscriber. To me, like we're all sitting around a campfire, and you're another knife guy that pulled up and around the campfire, and we're passing around knives and talking about knives. Because it's a cool hobby. But anyhow, I really appreciate y'all stopping by. I really do. I do appreciate every one of you. And thank y'all for helping me get to 100. And I'd like to get to 500 and or whatever. If we just stay this size, whatever. I mean, I just love talking about knives. And I'd really love your input on this knife and the Wenger or Swiss Army knives that y'all have. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. Like I said, this is my style. I don't have a script. I just talk off the top of my head as if we were sitting around a campfire just BSing about knives. But thank you for stopping by. If you want, if y'all ask, I'll make a really detailed review on every single tool on this knife, and including maybe getting a map out and showing how the thing works. But overall, I just kind of wanted to show it off, and I wanted to thank y'all for getting me to 100. Y'all have a great day. It is St. Patty's Day, so those of you that either are Irish or Irish for a day or whatever, happy St. Patty's Day, and we'll catch y'all down the road.